A very warm welcome to your feel-good breakfast show Espresso on SABC3. It's a good thing that it's a Wednesday. We're halfway there, right?
Halfway there, halfway there. It's
Indeed.
a small Saturday, but I never really understand that.
It is going to be kind of like a small Saturday. Toy
Oh,
Lazy's in the house. We've got some great performances. But the topic we're talking about now was brought about by the recent, very controversial resignation of the Competition Commission's boss. His name, Mr. Shan Ramburuth. Now, this is after he allegedly was found using a work SIM card, right? That he got at work.
Basically taxpayers' money.
Basically taxpayers' money, and using it on the internet for pornography, and at quite an alarming rate, at something of like 15,000 Rand per hour. He used hundreds and thousands of rands on pornography, which of course calls into question your work etiquette. What are you allowed to do on your computer? You know, now, so embarrassing.
I mean, you have to be mindful when it comes to this because, I mean, the internet, it is open to everyone. You can use it freely whenever you can, especially when you work at companies. But you know what? The man to ask really is Gerard Conradi. He's the Managing Director of Evolve Networks, and he's joining us this morning. Gerard, very nice to have you.
Thank you.
And this is quite a controversial topic, I think, in terms of what is acceptable, what is not. But let's start with, you know, the situation in South Africa. How strict is South African companies with the use of internets by their employers?
Well, we tend to find that any company below 500 users, they tend to be less concerned with internet usage, mostly because of the costs involved with implementing those type of restrictions and then monitoring it. Above that, they take it very seriously. It's loss of productivity, risks, legal risks, and they then use that as the main driver for driving restrictions and actually having something in place.
Yeah. So obviously some of these restrictions come about as a result of inappropriate content. But
Exactly.
I mean, what's inappropriate for one person isn't inappropriate for the other. I mean, this guy is a professional. He's probably been doing this job for quite a while, and now he's been caught, you know, surfing the net for porn. So what is defined as inappropriate?
Well, inappropriate is anything that would damage a company's brand. Companies spend a lot of time and money on their brand. If you allow the flow of pornographic material out of your environment and it goes along with your brand, it harms the brand massively. At the same time, any type of swearing is also equally bad. Unfortunately, there are methods for controlling that, so you can control both sides of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, of course, social media as well. A lot of people access that on a daily basis. And is it true that also companies limit the time spent on the internet for social media and that kind of things?
We have a lot of requests for Facebook limitations, and the ban and limiting is a very ineffective way of doing it, though, because internet users will simply find another way of doing it. They'll use their mobile phones and they'll find other ways of circumventing it. We rather recommend that customers end up using rather a way of restricting and monitoring at the same time, and then counseling users when there's abuse. This way you end up not having a workforce that circumvents and starts using their mobile phones more and more. And that is a very hard thing to monitor and to control. The abuse can be as extreme as what we've seen. It's up to 7 hours a week of lost productivity in extreme cases per person.
That's
It's
a full
obviously
day.
individual user full day.
It's a full day.
So it gets quite bad.
Yeah. Talk about, I mean, because obviously we want to try and warn people out there and to be careful of certain things. So the sending of inappropriate content, is that just left to, let's say, like pictures or videos, or does that even amount to links? For instance, if you send an inappropriate link to a person, does that count to?
Links definitely as well. I think a rule of thumb that I always use is if you have to understand that an email is pretty much a postcard, address at the front and your message at the back. Imagine that somebody intercepts that or forwards it on. Now imagine whether that will do harm to your good name or your employer's name, and at that point decide whether it's worth sending the email. The answer will more than likely, if it is yes, it will do harm, then don't bother sending it.
Sure. Wow. Yeah, and then of course they do say that what is on the internet always stays there. You can never get it off.
That is true. This is true. This is true. Thank you so much, Gerard, for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. So let us know your thoughts. What do you think about this? What do you feel is inappropriate content on the internet, and how do you approach that at your own workplace? Right now, though, over the past weekend, the Ackerman Golf Champs took place, and Graham was there to check out some of the most promising golfing ladies in the country, and man, that they represent despite the gale force southeaster wind. Check it out.